Stephen, thank you very much for talking to CNBC Africa. Our first question is going to look at your earnings in the last quarter. Nokia reported a 73% fall in fourth quarter earnings. Are you able to give us some forecast for the company going forward?
Yeah, what we announced in our fourth quarter earnings actually was, first of all, our fourth quarter relative to expectations. We were quite with what we delivered. We are going through a period of significant transition, and there's been a lot of news about the new products and new strategies that we're putting in place. So what we're looking forward to is a period where, as we introduce our new products, as we gain traction with the efforts that we do, that over time we deliver improved earnings to our shareholders. So it's a very clear focus for us as we go forward.
There has been a lot of excitement about Nokia's partnership with Microsoft going forward, and observers are saying that this could make or break your company. What is your response to that?
Well, certainly it's a very important part of our strategy. Almost exactly a year ago today, we announced the strategy to partner with Microsoft to introduce a new family of smartphones. Since that announcement, we've had some amazing moments. For example, in October, late October, we stood on stage and introduced our first Lumia products, which are those that use the Windows Phone operating system. I happen to have here the Lumia 800. The very first Windows Phone device that has come from Microsoft. And as we announced during our fourth quarter earnings report, we've sold well over 1 million of these devices and its sister product, the 710. So we're making very good progress with that. But it continues. During the second week of January at the Consumer Electronics Show in the United States, we were there and introduced the third member of our family, the Lumia 900, a device particularly designed for the US market. And this particular product, for the first time in Nokia's history, won the Best of Show award. People voted on it. There were 140,000 people at this show, and they said, there's the best product in the show for smartphones, which is something we're very proud of. And what it speaks to is our ability to transition the company, to accelerate the pace at which we're getting things done, and to deliver products that consumers love. So we're very excited about the progress we're making with Microsoft, but we have a lot of work to do, no question.
The mobile phone industry is a very competitive market by its very nature, and inevitably people are going to compare you with your competitors. And let's look at one of your competitors, Apple. Apple sold 37 devices in the last quarter, and the elephant in the room is, how are you going to keep up with such a belligerent pace?
Yeah, well, certainly we don't look at it as the elephant in the room not to be discussed. It's actually front and center for us. That's what we said a year ago, is that there were competing ecosystems that were doing certain things in the marketplace, and we needed to change our strategy to compete with that. And that's precisely what we've done. So now as we go forward, we've established this environment where there are now 3 ecosystems competing. We've introduced new products, we've introduced new services, all of which will set our ecosystem aside from the others. And of course, we're hopeful that that will translate into the competitive results. When people look at our products, give us the awards, begin to purchase, give us tremendous feedback on what we've done, those are the signs we're looking for to say, okay, now we're on the right track to retake market share and to compete effectively. So we didn't think about it as an elephant. We said we have to do something about that, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Some of your vision coming into Nokia is to regain Nokia's position as the world's #1 selling phone, especially in the smartphone sector. And this partnership with Microsoft is probably one of the reasons how you're going to get there. Is this still on the agenda to be #1 in the world?
So we will not be satisfied at any point, at any level. So certainly we aspire to be #1 and beyond, and just keep continuing to drive every single day. Part of it does relate to the relationship with Microsoft and smartphones, but also, and this is particularly relevant in emerging markets in Africa and elsewhere, we're very focused on the lower price tier devices as well. Whereas part of our strategy announced a year ago, we said we were going to invest substantially more in the research and development focused on those lower price tiers. And just in the last few months, at the same time we were introducing the Lumia products at the higher end, we've been introducing a family of products called the Asha family of products, which are focused on those people who may be getting their first smartphone or light smartphone. And the opportunity there for us is very good, and the early results there are also excellent. So we have several tiers to our strategy to continue to build back and to regain market share.
Since 2009, the number of people that have accessed the internet via mobile devices has doubled. Does this form part of the plan of Nokia going forward? And how are you going to harness this new phenomena?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Indeed, this part of our strategy we call Internet for the Next Billion. And we're very focused on taking the next billion people to a point where they have their very first internet experience. So the Asha family of products are designed to help first-time device users to have their first browser experience, and to do so in a very cost-effective way, to get their very first experience with social networks and so forth on devices that are specifically targeted at those markets and at those price points that can bring large numbers of people, to the internet. And this is something we do obviously because it's good for business, but even more importantly, and this is a lot of the conversations I've been having here in Africa with government officials and other thought leaders, this is the type of thing that changes people's lives, whether it's through the provision of healthcare services or education or other things on these devices. All of a sudden, people have a portal into the world that was never available to them. And so there's tremendous potential for society, as well as it being good business to do this.
Stephen, you've been in Africa for the last few days, and you're now in the South African market in particular. What nuances have you taken away from Nokia's performance here locally and going forward?
So the South African market is a very dynamic marketplace. It's a very mature marketplace in terms of the dynamics of the operators, the strength of retailers, the way all of these things come together. It has some unique features as well in terms of the full mix of different aspirations, people wanting some of the lowest priced devices as well as the highest end devices. So it's a market that spans many different requirements. We've learned a lot here in the last couple of days about how we need to partner with the operators to do certain things that are important in this market. For example, some of our competitors in this market have done well because they have flat rate plans, something very popular in South Africa. Well, you should expect to see something from Nokia to ensure that we're very competitive on that front as well. So there's some very specific things that we learn and respond to here in the market. The other thing that's worth noting and that we're very excited about is as we introduce these new products, for example, the Lumia 800 just began to sell here in South Africa a couple of days ago. One of the important things in that environment is the inclusion of applications, unique bits of functionality on those devices. And here in South Africa, the consumers of our devices will get the benefit of the tens of thousands of applications that have been developed elsewhere. But also there's a thriving group of people here in South Africa who are themselves building applications for the South African market as well as for the rest of the world. And to see that happening is really inspiring because you see people engaging with us locally to deliver value locally. So when you buy a Nokia product, you're not just buying something that's good for the world, you're buying something that's good specifically for South Africa as well.
Final question, connectivity is a big issue. We had problems with the Research in Motion last year. They went off for a while. Does this form a part of your Nokia strategy going forward, together with the other two that you mentioned?
Our products clearly have been focused for many years on absolute reliability, durability. We're known for delivering the best products that connect to the radio networks. We're going to continue to stay focused on that. I noticed that you yourself had a BlackBerry product when you walked into the room. I hope it's working for you. I know that my Lumia is working well.